Hey everybody, welcome into another episode of Backseat Drivers. I have Jonathan and Chase joining me here. Cannot believe that we're finally saying this, but we are in the championship week. 4 guys are headed to Homestead, Miami Speedway. It's going to be Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Kyle Busch. Are we surprised by the Final Four? I'm not, because I'm the only one on this table that picked the correct Final Four. We can roll the past footage if we want to. No?
Congratulations.
I
You get a raise for that?
Yeah.
I forgot to get a cookie and a prize for her. I don't know about you, Merriman.
So I think this, the 10 races, the 9 races that we've seen, it's been one of the most intense playoff battles that I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Chase Elliott crashing at the Roval, coming back, winning that. I don't think he needed to win that race to punch his ticket to the next round, but crazy story. Then you have Larson come out at Dover, which he's probably going to have to win that race to go to the next round. Blaney wins at Talladega, probably was going to have to win in that round and make it to the next round. And then you have Denny at ISM coming out and had to win this race because of the way the stages played out, and comes out and does it. It's just – there have been a lot of storylines to follow, and the fact that Denny has finally made it to Homestead, the only guy in the championship 4 that doesn't have a championship, is pretty cool storyline, and it's pretty impressive. I've been impressed.
Martin Part 2.
Well, we'll see.
So I'm not surprised, because last week I said that Denny Hamlin needed to have Joey Logano to have problems. Okay, Denny also had a fast car and he won the race, but Joey Logano also had problems, which I thought that maybe that could happen, and it did. So I think this is definitely the most deserving championship 4, because these 4 drivers and these teams have been the strongest all season long. So I think it's a perfect fit.
Well, let's start with Denny Hamlin, the most recent winner who just got the win at ISM in Phoenix. He also has the most wins at different types of tracks. He's won Daytona 500, Texas, Pocono, Bristol, Kansas, Phoenix. He has looked, I know we've said this 1,000 times, but Denny traits it to the fact that it's Chris Gabehart and this team is just clicking and the crew is a tighter-knit group than what has been in the past. It looks like a different speed of a car and a different Denny to me.
Denny's biggest change is between his ears. I mean, every single time he's had to deliver, no pun intended, with the FedEx sponsor, he's gone out and he's done it, and this weekend was no exception. It looked like, on the restarts, he just could not go, would not go, and then with that caution, it came out late in that race. I mean, that was it. That was put up or shut up time, and Denny put up, and I think they need to be careful with him at Homestead.
Like you said about seeing a different Denny Hamlin this time around, he's even changing his mindset going into this race. It's his birthday weekend. So he said before, when he's been racing for a title, he's like shut himself away and hasn't really talked to many people, didn't celebrate his birthday. This time around, he's going to celebrate, get some late dinners and all that. It's just a different mindset for Denny. It's more relaxed. And that should be scary for the other 3 drivers, because this 11 team is the real deal. And when you have a relaxed Denny as well on top of that, I mean, I think it's just, sometimes it's just your year. And I think this year it very well could be the number 11 team in Denny's year. I think that they go out there and they're strong.
Denny is my championship pick and has been since about week 5 or 6 of the season, but I'm a little worried. The only reason that I'm worried about Denny is his finishes at Homestead. He's not been great there. Since 2014, he's finished 12th, 9th, 10th, and 7th.
Doesn't matter. You only had 1 win at ISM.
I mean,
doesn't matter.
I get it.
Doesn't matter.
So
Absolutely.
You're not worried about Denny at all.
Absolutely doesn't matter. I mean, you take Phoenix, for example. Other than Joey Logano having trouble midway through that race and Chase wrecking out, they all qualified around each other, and they all raced inside of the top 10. This system, something about it lets the guys in there, or forces the guys to elevate their game.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Denny Hamlin's history at ISM at all. Homestead, wherever we're going next.
Or
It's been a long season. It's almost over with. I'm not worried about it. Just not. I mean, you look at the quality of race car that Joe Gibbs Racing can put on the racetrack. They all have equal equipment. The one thing that's I think Truex has a handle on the transition from day to night because of Cole Pern.
Yep.
But aside from that, I mean, Chris Gabehart's a hell of a crew chief, and he can He can do anything anybody else out there can do.
Next up in the points heading to Homestead is Kevin Harvick. He locked in at Texas the week before Denny Hamlin at ISM. Him and Rodney, we have to expect, will bring their A game. They've had an extra week to prepare. How are we looking with Kevin Harvick winning the championship?
He's the fox in a fox hunt right now. He's got the dogs nipping at his heels. I mean, and I think that's the attitude that they have to take in there. When he won his championship in 2014, 2015, I felt like he thought, he was kind of the underdog there too. It was his first year with Stewart Haas Racing. He wasn't supposed to be in there running for a championship, so we thought. So I think they'll take the same mindset. I mean, I don't think Kevin is going to buy into anything. I don't think he's going to psych himself out. Him and Rodney know what they need to go do. I'm sure Rodney's probably watching, the last 3 years of Homestead.
He says
back
he watches the race like 4 times.
So,
Probably doing it right now.
Yeah, he's probably taking notes in a dark room somewhere and coming up with
make him
all kinds of strategies. So, he's a mad scientist for sure.
So Kevin Harvick has to be thinking a little bit of redemption, correct? I know Denny Hamlin is on the redemption tour, suffering 2010 and 2014, but Kevin Harvick has to be. I mean, it's Joe Gibbs racing against Harvick, and I think it was his championship to lose last season.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And like you said, it's 3 against 1, And I know that the JGR teams work together, but I don't know how much they're going to work together this week. They say it's business as usual, but I don't believe that. I think
They're not
that's
gonna work together.
a bunch of
No,
crap.
at all.
So I think maybe that might play into his advantage. That if they're on this island, being the only team that's not JGR. And it's like, okay, let's just go out there, see what we can do. But I'm going to throw all the stats. I'm going to throw everybody else who's in the championship for all that out of the equation.
That's a big deal for you. You're a stat guy.
I know I'm a stat guy. And I'm just like, put this on record here, that when it's time to get the job done, doesn't matter what happened throughout the regular season, the 9 races in the playoffs, Kevin Harvick and Ronnie Childers can get the job done.
What happened last year? Homestead.
I know. But
I forgot we were throwing that out the window.
Yeah, I'm throwing everything out the window because they're locked in, they're focused, and they know what they got to do. And I definitely wouldn't count them out.
I know that you don't care about this, but Harvick has the highest average finish at Homestead. He has not finished outside the top 10 in 10 years. I'm just saying.
Don't matter.
And that
Just
helps.
saying.
And that helps.
Don't matter.
Just saying. Don't take my mic.
I'm getting people on the stats train over here.
Homestead is a different beast. Like I feel like it's one of those places where you have it either figured out or you don't.
I don't know.
It goes from day to night. It's a different breed.
So if I'm taking everything into consideration and I'm picking a champion with my brain, I'm gonna pick
With your what?
Martin Truex
You
Jr.
have that?
If I'm picking a champion with my heart and what I think's gonna happen, I'm gonna pick Denny Hamlin. I'm torn because I think Truex.
Divided.
I think Cole Pern is the most
Mastermind, yeah.
brilliant crew chief when it comes
I
to a racetrack and chasing a racetrack. Having said that, I think all signs point to Denny Hamlin and Chris Gabehart bookending the season with Daytona 500 championship at Homestead.
Yeah.
Whether they win the race or not, I think you're going to have to win the race to win the championship, but you don't necessarily have to.
You have to remember there's some extra heart with this 11 team the passing
JD.
of JD Gibbs. So they're not only on a mission for themselves, they're on a mission
Heck of a story
for
if
the
they win
family. And that's when I say when it's your year. It might just be your year,
So let's go back for a second. Denny Hamlin, who do we think is his biggest competition?
Truex.
I'd have to agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kevin Harvick, who's his biggest competition?
All 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking for a pecking order,
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily want your pecking order. I just want who is whose biggest threat.
I mean, they're all racing each other.
I know that, but I'm just saying. I think.
I mean, look, Kyle and Kevin have a history of not liking each other, and they're not going to. I mean, they raced each other for a title before, and so I mean that they have a history. It could potentially get a little spicy, but I mean, I think they're going to all race, the 3 of them, that this guy's going to race these three guys. That's their biggest competition is the three that are in.
That's true.
And if you're Kyle Busch, maybe is another car in Eric Almirola. I don't know.
And if we're looking at past experience, I know Childers is. I mean, they all listen to each other's radios, but I mean, Childers gotten burned once or twice listening to the 19 radio because Cole Pern's pretty sneaky,
shifty
sometimes. So I think 19. If you want me to pick a driver, Truex. Probably.
All right. Well, speaking of Truex, let's look at his chances to win the championship too. He got it done in 2017. Man, that's 2 years ago. That seems hard to believe. He has 7 wins on the season. Got the short track win that he wanted this season. His worst finish in the past 10 weeks was 26 at Dega, and he finished 1-2 at Homestead in the last 2 years. Although we don't care, I'm just throwing it out.
I care about it. I mean, I'm telling you, Cole Pern.
Okay, so here's why I like the number 19 team, and this is my pick to win the championship. Because not only do they just bring a fast car every weekend, but if they, let's say they qualify poorly, case in point, Vegas, qualified 24th, all right? Pern and Truex have a way of being able to work on the car throughout the race and get themselves in a position where they need to be to run for the win by the end of the race. So it doesn't matter whether they start at Homestead. They're going to find a way to get to the front and be contending for the win. And like you talked about, transitioning from day to night, they're so good at that. Mm-hmm. So on top of those things, it's hard to beat that.
They don't have to worry about stages either. I mean, it's all about the checkered
finish,
flag.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So you have all race to get your car dialed in. The advantage I think that the 19 has
You're about to
is
steal my words, I think.
they unload fast.
Oh, no, that was.
They're off the trailer just fast. And I don't think Martin feels like he has anything to prove anymore.
I mean, he doesn't.
I mean, he is an established race car driver with, he's pushing the 30 win mark, which is incredible. He's got Joe Gibbs equipment, which is the best in the garage. And he's been there before, and he's done it before. And by the way, he has 2 short track wins, and he hasn't been able to do that in his entire career. And Martinsville's probably one of the hardest places to win, and he's got all the confidence in the world. He's been sleeping good for 2 weeks.
So the sleeping good for 2 weeks is why I think Truex is the biggest threat. He's the first one to lock in of the 4. Him and Cole Pern have been in that shop, I know, every single day for the last 3 weeks, getting ready for Homestead. Cool, it'd be cool to win at Texas. It'd be cool to win at ISM. They didn't really give a crap about that. It was all devoted to Homestead. They sent, even this past week at ISM, sent a bunch of the crew guys, didn't even make the trip. They stayed at home.
Car chief too, right?
Yeah, it's just been a lot of...
Can you overthink it?
I don't think so. Not with Cole Pern. No, I don't. I truly think that overthinking for Cole Pern is when it gets dangerous for everybody else. All right, so the last guy to lock into the championship 4 was Kyle Busch, who has not won in 22 race weekends, which for Kyle Busch is a slump. Phoenix, Auto Club, Bristol, and Pocono are his wins this season. I have been worried about the 18 for probably the last 5 or 6 weeks. You have said no. Are you worried about the 18 now?
I think now is a legitimate time to worry because this is it. This is his last shot. He's probably going to have to win this weekend if he wants to win a title.
Well,
the shocking thing to me is think about how on fire that team started out this year. Mm-hmm. He gets 200 National Series wins, and really seemed like early on that the 2019 rules were going to favor him so much, even though he complained about them every week.
Because he loves them so much.
He was killing everybody. And then, it started to warm up. We got to Coke 600 weekend. And got to that little bit of a summer stretch, and everybody's still checking their watch. It's odd to me.
So we saw with Chase Elliott in the playoffs, and especially in the round of 8, is when bad things happen, they just kind of snowball. Well, in my opinion, number 18 team isn't just going to go to Homestead. Okay, everything's great. We're going to have the fastest car, and we're going to win the championship. I would, if I was the 18 team, I'd be worrying a lot. Obviously I don't know what's going on inside those walls, but your playoffs have been not good to be nice about it. So I don't think you just up and just do a 180. Okay, we're good. We're gonna have the fastest car, and who cares about everybody else? We're going to win. I don't
They-
see that happening.
They asked in the media availability following Phoenix for these guys if Joe Gibbs, if it was a shared notebook kind of week. So you have to think that maybe having Cole Pern's notebook and Chris Gabehart's notebook is going to help Adam Stevens and Kyle Busch a little bit. I just
I
think
think Adam Stevens needs
I'm not saying he needs help, but I mean, you haven't won a race in 22 weeks, and these other guys are looking at their momentum has been right at the spot that it's needed to be. I just have a problem with, like, in your mindset and how you feel mentally as a driver and as a crew chief when you feel like you've been taking possibly speedy cars to the racetrack and you haven't won in 22 race weekends.
Problem's not with
Woof.
anything on the car. The problem is this sport is a team sport. It's built on chemistry. There's a disconnect somewhere. Right now, if you look at the 11, Crew firing on all 8, Gabe Hart firing on all 8, Denny firing on all 8. Same can be said for the 19 team.
Yeah. I'm not saying there's a problem with the car. That's what I'm saying. I think there's a problem with the mental.
I don't know.
I'd say Kyle Busch is in his head a little bit.
Okay.
He's tired of being asked about it. We know that.
I'm just saying. I haven't won in 22 weeks.
When you expect to win every race weekend and you haven't won in 22 weeks, that's going to piss you off.
I just don't know
pretty
how
good.
you show up on week 23 of no wins and be like, yeah.
It's got. It's got to turn around somewhere. But that's
in
why
2020.
That's why I said I would be worried if I was him, because you don't have 2 weeks to get it figured out. This is it. You've got to get it figured out this week.
So you think week 23 is just going to be like, ding, ding.
No, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, Kyle ran second at ISM, right? For everybody else, that's
I'm
great.
not. It's still Kyle Busch.
You
He's still one of the
can't-
best drivers of all time.
You can't run second at Homestead. So I mean, I think
Well, you can if Hamlin, Harvick, and Truex aren't in
yeah,
front
but
of
that's
you.
not going to happen. Something is slightly off.
Yeah, the noggin.
I think.
So is Kyle Busch your championship favorite?
No. I
Is
already
he
told you
top
mine.
2 for you?
No, I think he's third best on the list right now, just because they're not.
So you think Harvick finishes 4th?
Yeah, and he'd probably go out and win the race. So that's just my luck, but
I'm standing with Truex. For sure.
All right, I'm sticking with the 11.
I'm going to take the 11. All right, so we've given our championship picks.
Mm-hmm.
What about another award given out maybe in Nashville this year?
December 5th, I think we're going to announce NASCAR's most popular driver, presented by Hooters, which is an award put on by NMPA. A great award. Drivers can say they don't like winning it, but they do.
They do.
It really gives the fans an opportunity to vote for somebody in their sport and really get their fanhood out there. So it's a cool one for us.
Where's the chicken wings, though?
Yeah.
going on?
We're
What's
going
going
to
on?
Hooters for lunch, so you know.
I'm going to get those Daytona wings again, man. Those were... I'm drooling over here. Anyway, keep going.
All right, well, voting will close on December 4th, and NASCAR's most popular driver will be announced on December 5th. You can still vote once a day, every day at NASCAR.com/most popular driver, and vote shared on social will count double. So we have that to look forward to. We also have, before we crown NASCAR's most popular driver, we have to crown the 2019 NASCAR champion. All of that is going to take place where 4 drivers will compete for that title at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's the Ford EcoBoost 400, 3 p.m. Sunday on NBC. Guys, we've made it. It's the final
We're
week.
going to Homestead.
We're going to Homestead. Backseat Drivers, we'll see you guys maybe in a special episode, but if not, we'll see you back in Studio 3 next season.